Hey, one of the first things master food preservers learn is to sanitize all of the work surfaces. So we're going to use this bleach solution, go over this fairly new stainless table and wipe it down. And be ready to go. I want to show you how to process a number of different fruit, including poha, Suriname cherry, lilikoi, mangoes. Okay, and we've got a nice clean cutting board and some knives. Let's see, what are we going to do first? Cut something. Let's do oaheite. We only have a few of them, but this is in order to show you, this way, a triple steamer. So oaheite gooseberry, which is not related to Suriname cherry at all, has a hard seed inside. Problem with a hard seed is that it also breaks up in the processors or in juicers. So we want to cut out as much of the good part as we can and save the seed. There are two ways of processing oaheite gooseberry. One is to do it that way, cut around the seed. And this is how I first figured cost of production. Or you can pour the whole thing into the triple steamer, which comes in 3 parts. We'll put some water in the bottom. And in the middle, that captures the juice. You can see the cone. And then the fruit comes in here. So the steam comes up to the middle. And we just boil the water in there, and the juice comes down here, and you just let it go out. The other way is to take these pieces and run those through the centrifuge juicer. And we'll do that in a minute. Now, the botanic name of this is Phyllanthus acidus. And as you can imagine, it's quite sour. It just contributed to my hair loss quite a bit. So it takes about 2 hours to cut up enough of these to make 8 cups of juice. And the 8 cups of juice makes 24 4-ounce jars once you add the pectin and sugar. Now, you can see what a pretty kind of yellow color this is. This is like one of those old kids' science projects from the 50s, is as soon as you add sugar to this boiling liquid that we make from the pieces, it turns ruby red instantly before your eyes. If you remember the science kits or chemistry sets we used to have as kids, you'd pour something in this one and it would turn blue, then you'd pour this in, it would turn red. This is just sugar in this, and it just turns ruby red. So in terms of figuring your cost of production, you got to keep track of how long it takes to cut and make all this stuff. But this is some of the best tasting jelly ever. And it's kind of hard to describe in conventional terms. I'm trying to think of what it tastes like. I really can't. I guess you just have to try it and taste it. There's a fair number of trees of this in the state, brought here, I think, in the mid-1800s when there were a lot of plant introductions. And this, along with some other fruit like kitambila, was very popular in the 30s and used with less acidic fruit like papaya in order to make jellies that had a safe pH, because the acid in fruit will give you a pH of 4.2, which is really what we need in Hawaii. Where the mainland is 4.6, our Department of Health says 4.2. When I was growing up and learning this from my great Aunt Lucille in the 50s, the standard pH was 3.5. So times change as the machines and the devices to measure things like pH and water activity get more exacting. Oh, usually that's the average size. So since it's off season, some of them are pretty small like that, which means you get a lot less. And when that happens and we need the fruit for a jelly order, then we'll have to use the triple steamer. But although I use the triple steamer because it's a lot faster and you save 2 hours and that saves on your cost of production, the color and the taste is just not as rich, at least for my palate. So it really depends on how much you want to put into what you're making.